Yeah, like, so we got out here and we were all just hanging out one night, and then we just ended up scrolling through some tracks, and we wrote this song, and I was like, it was the first song I actually had like involvement in writing and like the concept, and it was like, it's super sick, and I still listen back to it sometimes. And he was like, let me just play you a song.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, we don't want to hear this, like, we don't care.
Oh my God.
And so they're very blunt people.
Yeah.
Like, super New York, super blunt, honest, which I love.
Yeah.
And he played it, and they were like, oh wow, it's like actually pretty good. And they were like, who wrote it though? Like, there's no way he wrote it. And then he told them that I co-wrote it with some of my friends, and they're like, okay, sick, like, we'll meet with him, but I doubt it. Like, I doubt anything. And then we met, and we all clicked immediately, and like kind of started working from then on. We walked in, and I had just been exhausted from a long day of like doing other meetings, and then we walked in and we were like all blown away. We didn't think the meeting was gonna go that well, and everyone was super excited to have us in there, and it felt right. Like, it felt home, like a home.
Hi, this is Lauren Engel of Sidewalk Talk. Today I'm here with Aaron Carpenter.
What's going on? What's up? What's up?
So you were born in, how do you say it, Shreveport? Or?
Yes, Shreveport,
Yeah.
Louisiana.
Are your parents originally from Shreveport as well, or?
Yes, I think I've asked them before, like, if they're from there, but I know my mom is, and yeah, both my parents are from
Oh wow!
Shreveport.
So all your like extended family and everyone's there.
Majority of
Wow.
everyone's there. I have my uncles in Dallas though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And your mom's a singer, or?
Yeah, she grew up singing. She performed at the Louisiana Hayride, like Elvis, and she grew up singing, and then went and sang in church, and
wow.
that's where like I started to learn how to sing. My mom would teach me, listening to like Rascal Flatts and other stuff.
What's her job then, or when you were growing up?
When I was growing up, she was a singer at church, and then my dad was a nurse, and then my parents divorced when I was in second grade, and then my stepdad was a financial advisor.
Oh, okay.
And she was a stay-at-home mom, which was fun because I got to hang out with her a lot.
Yeah. So I guess you got all your creative side from her, or?
Yeah, she's always doing something like that. She loves painting, listening to music, and everything. Yeah.
And also your siblings, right? They're also into music. Yeah.
My brother started playing piano when he was like 3 years old, and he's the best pianist that I've ever known.
Oh wow.
And then my sister would show me everything that I'm influenced by today, like punk pop bands like Hawthorne Heights.
Did she show you Justin Timberlake?
Yes, she grew up she's still to this day the biggest Justin Timberlake
Yeah, she had a
fan.
photo like in her room,
she has a cardboard cutout of Justin Timberlake in her room.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I kind of like, whether I like it or not, I'm super inspired by him, and I love it because he's just incredible.
How do you describe your personality back then growing up?
Me growing up?
Yeah.
I was very curious. I always like was finding something to get my hands into, whether it was like Rubik's Cubes, dirt bikes,
Yeah, actually,
magic.
I feel like those are three different
No,
things.
they're so across the board different. But that's what I liked about it. It was like nothing was the same, and like it started out with music, and I was obsessed, and still am.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, like magic, Rubik's Cubes, fishing, like, and originally I wanted to be a marine biologist.
Oh wow.
And then it kind of like, I don't know, I love music too much for it not to be a part of my life. And
What were you curious about the marine life originally?
I was obsessed with fishing, like catching a fish, and then like the concept of like throwing something out in the water and then taking a fish out was like so fun. I don't know, it was just something about it intrigued me, I wanted to get good at it.
Was that near your house? Like you were able to go like dirt biking and fishing?
Yeah, so like I got a dirt bike, and I would like ride to the back of the neighborhood where they were still finishing the neighborhood, and they had like a bunch of woods you could go right around, and then there's a pond in the back, and then another pond down the road, so there was a bunch of different places you could go.
Yeah, it's like all you could just adventure and do everything. That's so different.
Super fun.
Wow.
Yeah, like Louisiana, it's like there's not a lot of stuff to do, so you kind of just like are forced to be creative and like go and do different things, whether it's like going out in the woods and running around with all my siblings, and then like we used to like go in the back of the neighborhood with my friends and build like tree houses and do the most random stuff, but it was so fun. I loved growing up there.
Did you get really good at Rubik's Cube? Like, did you start timing yourself?
Yeah, I wanted to order it like one of the official timers, but I couldn't find
like so
an
official.
actual
I see them
one
on YouTube.
But I just downloaded like this little thing on my computer. Squirrel. And
do you remember your time?
The fastest I ever got was like 35 seconds.
Oh, that's fast.
Which, yeah, I was super stoked about it. But like I saw the world record and it was like someone doing it in 4 seconds. And I was like, there's no way I could ever.
Were you into school back then?
I loved math, as weird as
really?
it sounds. Yeah, I loved math up until Algebra 2, and then I was like over it. I started taking Algebra 1 in 8th grade, and then Algebra 2 came freshman year, and then I was like, I like the 8th grade. Algebra 1 was like, oh, this is sick, but I don't know.
Do you think you got it from your dad? Because they're both like academic, right?
Yeah, my dad, I think my mom actually was super into math, and she would like, I don't know, I think it's just the way I learned it and like watching, like it was like figuring something out, like there was so much more into like one problem, like, I don't know, I feel like I just liked watching and learning how a math problem like sorted itself out and then got to the end. I don't know.
Say, I mean, I'm into math, but
yeah, I love it.
That's so cool. Yeah, were you in any like school clubs or?
There was a club in elementary school called, I think it was called Discoveries, that I was in, and I got to like miss a couple hours of like my actual class, and I would go in there and we would just do like little what was it? Yeah, I think we would just do different stuff, like it's like electives in high school, but it was in elementary school because it was just in elementary school. So I went there for like 2 hours on Monday.
What were you discovering?
I don't know what it was. It's called Discoveries, but we would do like we would set up field day for all the elementary kids, and then like go on like these little field trips and go to like Baton Rouge and go to like walk around the LSU campus, and it was like, it was still educational and it like counted as like my class hours. It was like, yeah, it was just super fun. I don't know why I was in that. I don't remember. I think they just like asked me one day. I was like, yeah, sure.
Did you do instruments like drums?
Yeah, so drums was the first instrument that I ever picked up. I always saw my stepdad playing. Like he would like play on his like steering wheel, and I would watch him, and then I like started like doing the same thing on like the dinner table, and like on the dinner table, and like we would go to like what's it called? Hibachi? Yeah. Where they cook in front of you, and I would have the chopsticks, and I would just be like beating on everything. And so I like slowly started the interest there, and then I had to like, I wanted to ask for a drum set, but I was the youngest of 5. I had an older brother, older sister, older stepbrother, and older stepsister.
Oh my gosh.
So like if I wanted a drum set, everyone would have to want it, or get something as equally value. And so I started like mowing lawns and saving up to like be able to buy my own. And eventually I got like an electric kit because other people in the house, they don't want to hear me learning to play the drums. So yeah, I started like putting on headphones, listening to music, trying to figure out how they play it. I listened to like Need to Breathe, Hurricane was the first song that I learned how to play on the drums. And yeah, I just started learning from there, and like listening to music in the car, like figuring it out, like where the kick, snare, the hi-hat, which like all of that. And
oh wow, were you watching tutorials, or how were your siblings helping you at all?
Yeah, so my brother would like, he would like be like jamming on the piano, and I would just pick up the sticks and like try to make my own beat to it. And then I would watch tutorials of like people how to play like Paramore songs, like want to figure those out because that's what I was listening to. And yeah, slowly but surely I was able to learn it, but I still wouldn't say I'm like the best at drums. I can like figure it out if I sit down and learn it for a while. But yeah, it's just I loved like the timing, like figuring out the pocket, and like it's just like once you got it, it was like so fun to just jam to.
Did it ever occur to you to start or join a band, because you can sing and then drums? I feel like that's like a huge thing for bands.
I wanted to start, like I wanted to get into a band, but I had no other like friends that would
How about your siblings?
Into it. My siblings, like, they were all doing their own thing. My brother was in a ton of bands, so he was already occupied. And then my sister, she was in college. Or no, she moved out here actually for a bit. And so she was like all over the place doing her thing. And so I just kind of just kept messing around with the drums and watching YouTube videos and figuring it out myself. And then that's when I like started to like travel a bit. And like I was saying before, I got a note from my school and was like, they were like, hey, if he misses another day of school, he's gonna like have to get kicked out and leave. So I was like, all right, well, there's no way I'm not gonna keep traveling. So I ended up going to online school and further pursuing like the music stuff, but like not publicly, because I wasn't like, I was too afraid to put it out there, because I didn't want to put it out there until I was like the best, and like that's not the best approach about it, because it's like nice to put it out and like see people or let people watch you grow and like progress and watch you get better and better. And so that's what I started to do now. Like once I moved out here, the first thing I went and did was pick up a guitar and a piano and sit down in my apartment, because I found I had a lot of downtime. And I pulled up the YouTube app and started teaching myself how to play on there. I've been learning how to play guitar, and I've been in lessons like once a week. And yeah, it's fun. Like I said, I'm not like the best at it, but I want to get as best as I can at it.
Actually, back then, like what occurred to you to start social media? Like, did all your friends start doing it, or?
My sister, actually, I got an iPod for Christmas in 2011. And she was, I asked her, I was like, yo, what are like some cool apps to get? And she was like, get Instagram. Like, it's what I'm on. It's super cool. All my friends are on it. And I was like, yeah, sure. Cool. I'll get on it. And I got it and I hated it, so I deleted it. And then when I went back to school after the break, all my friends were on it. And they're like, the thing they kept saying to me was like, there's no parents on here. Because it was like Facebook. Everybody was on there. I was like, how are there no parents on Instagram? So I was like, whatever. I got on Instagram and everyone's like, posting on it. I posted like kind of this and that, and then we would hang out each weekend, like all of our friends, and we would like take a photo of us at the bonfire, or, like us playing basketball or whatever we were doing, and posting it on Instagram. And yeah, like I think I started using it more as like documenting my personal life, and it started to get more traction. And then from there on, it was like another thing I was interested in and wanted to get really good at.
Was Vine something that also gave you a lot of traction early on?
Actually, I didn't have Vine until like the second MagCon came around. So I did a meet and greet with Bart Borderline, or not with him. He heard I was doing a meet and greet in Dallas, and he approached my mom and was like, hey, we want to like partner with your son. He's the president of this live streaming app, which no longer exists. And he was like, yo, we want to like partner with your son, and our first project together be like him live streaming his meet and greet. So I went and did that, and then came back to Louisiana, and he brought the idea to me to go to Houston, Indianapolis, and Atlanta. And my first thought was, hey, I know people that are in the same position as me, and I'd like to like hit them up, bring them on the platform, and make it a bigger thing. And then it snowballed into now what we call MagCon. Yeah,
actually, well, how old were you when you started MagCon? That's like super impressive to be so entrepreneurial at such a young age.
I had no idea what I was doing. I was just kind of like going with the gut instinct of what to do. And it was 2013 when I had the summer of 2013 when I had that meet and greet. And then the September 2013 was when we had our first one with me and like 4 other guys.
Yeah, were your parents helping you with this early on?
Yeah, my mom was like, why would I let you go to this meeting by yourself? Like I walked in, it was super like corporate. Like I sat at this super long table and there's like all these businessmen. I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
Like I felt like I didn't belong there, but yeah, she was there with me the entire time, like making sure I wasn't getting like snaked out or doing anything.
Yeah.
So she was a big help, and as was my stepdad.
Do you think early on, like in school, people were treating you differently because of your social media presence?
Yeah, I started to notice it towards the end of like towards the end of me actually going to a physical school.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I had people coming up to me like kind of making fun of it, like, why do people follow you? You're so boring, or like whatever it is. And it's just something new that happened that they didn't understand. And I had people come around and be like, yo, that's so cool, like, respect. Like, people I knew of but weren't friends with coming up to me, because my high school was super small. And yeah, it was just like a different thing, not like, it was a good and bad thing. Like, people new would come around and be like, yo, what's up? And people who were new that came around would be like, yo, that's whack. But I just kind of stuck to it, because like the only time I ever saw them was at school. So it didn't really hold me back from doing it. Yeah.
How did you first meet Cameron Dallas?
Met him online, and then the first time we met in person was at the first MadCon.
Oh, okay. And is it surprising that you're on his Netflix show, right?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Or
like, were your parents surprised, like, oh, so suddenly you're like on Netflix also?
So yeah, they were like, hey, we're doing this documentary, we're gonna start filming on the Europe tour. I was like, sick, like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. And then we started filming, I think, before we even knew it was on Netflix.
Oh wow.
I forget how it happened, it was so long ago. But yeah, it was super cool and super quick. Like, it just like happened.
Yeah.
Like, next thing I knew, we were filming. But yeah, it was cool.
Like, getting into music, was it difficult for you in terms of like, you don't want to be associated as like a social media person?
Yeah, yes and no. No, because I wouldn't have had the opportunity to even be in the industry if it wasn't for that. Because if I hadn't done anything else, I'd still be in Louisiana, like, building tree forts or doing whatever. I have no idea what I'd be doing if I was still in Louisiana. But it gave me the opportunity to be out here and actually pursue what I've been passionate about my entire life. And I'm like forever grateful for that. But now I feel I've been reintroducing myself to who I really am. Like, I've only put out one song so far, but we're getting to the point where we're about to be putting out a lot more, and there's a lot more depth to some of the other songs. Yeah. Like, you'll hear when it comes out, but all my entire project so far is, the common thread in it all is like relationships in general, whether it's a romantic relationship, a relationship between me and my brother, me and my sister, me and my mom, me and my family. And yeah, it came down for me to just, there's no way around the flack, because I'd seen other people try to make the switch from social media to music, and I was like, oh wow, like, they're getting so much flack, like, it freaked me out. And so I was like, there's no way I could ever, but trying to figure out a way around it, but there's no way around it. There's just straight through it. And I knew if I made the best music I could, and the stuff that I was super confident in, there's no denying like good music. So just kind of had to commit and let the music speak for itself.
Was it difficult going from just drumming at home to being put in all these sessions and being like learning how to write with people, work with producers?
Yeah, so that's the side no one saw except for the people in the room. Like, when I first signed with my managers, which was an uphill battle in its own.
What about?
When I first got out here, like I said, I just had my piano and guitar, and I had no idea how to write a song at all. Yeah. And coincidentally, I met this songwriter and this agent at WME, and I met with the agent guy, and he was like, yo, his name's Joe, so I can like put a name to a person. His name's Joe, and I was like, yo, what's up, Joe, like, great to meet you. And I met him just like out hanging out, and we're like passing a school right now. I know. I met him out, and he was like, yo, like, what are you up to? It was like right when we were about to start filming, and or no, it was right after we finished filming, so he knew about what we were doing. And he was like, so what's your deal? Like, you're into music, right? And I was like, yeah, like, I just don't have any music. I don't have anyone. I had zero team. And I told him about what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be and what type of, like, not what type of artist, because that didn't come like an overnight thing. Yeah, I told him, I was like, yeah, like, I really want to pursue this music thing seriously. And he's like, cool, well, like, do you have anything I can hear? And I was like, no, not yet. But like, I think like 3 nights after I met this songwriter, and he asked, because we were writing for someone else, and I had no idea what I was doing. I was just kind of like singing what they were writing. And he was like, yo, wait, like, are you an artist? And I was like taken back by it, because no one had ever asked me that. And I was like, yeah, I'm an artist. And then it felt good to say that. Yeah. And so I just kind of started saying that. And he was like, well, we got to get you something. Like, I think you'd sound cool in this record. He's like, do you like Bruno Mars and Justin Timberlake? I was like, duh, like, come on. And yeah, I went and recorded this one song, and I was like, it's a cool song, but it's not for me. Like, I just knew it wasn't something I wanted to put out. It was just more so getting the feel of recording in a studio. And I posted that back, I posted a photo of me recording it back in, like, I think it was 2016 or 17. And from then on, I like sat down with him one day. I flew one of my friends out from Shreveport. I was just like trying to like get as much help as I could of anyone that knew how to write a song. So I was like, yo, you know how to write a song? Come out here and help me, like, and we'll just hang out, because he's one of my hometown friends. And yeah, like, so we got out here and we were all just hanging out one night, and then we just ended up scrolling through some tracks, and we wrote this song. And I was like, it was the first song I actually had like involvement in writing and like the concept, and it was like, it's super sick, and I still listen back to it sometimes, and I'm like, this is still
You want to put it
great.
out?
Maybe eventually.
Yeah.
I want to put it out, but for right now it's not the right time.
Yeah.
But it was my first time like actually writing a song, and from then on we would work like 5 or 6 times, and we wrote like 5 or like 6 or 7 songs and recorded them. And so I sent them over to Joe, and he was like, oh wow, like, these are actually great, like, I wasn't expecting this, let me hit up some people. And the first people he hit up was my current managers now, and they were like, no, like, we don't and this is where the social media flag comes, and we were like, no, we don't represent like social influencers. And I was like, there's the battle, like, you know. But it was after like he asked like 3 or 4 times, and they all live on the same street, and they were all out conveniently one night, and they all rode home together at like 4 a.m. And he was like, let me just play you a song. Yeah. And they were like, no, we don't want to hear this, like, we don't care. Oh my God. And so they're very blunt people, like super New York, super blunt, honest, which I love. Yeah. And he played it, and they were like, oh wow, it's like actually pretty good. And they were like, who wrote it though? Like, there's no way he wrote it. And then he told them that I co-wrote it with some of my friends, and they're like, okay, sick, like, we'll meet with him, but I doubt it, like, I doubt anything. And then we met, and we all clicked immediately, and like kind of started working from then on. And then from there it was just like full-fledged just session world. And like I said before, it's like nobody saw this. It was like me learning how to walk into a room and like actually write a song with these other people, and like meeting everybody. And like, yeah, it was just, it was a difficult first bit, and like that's what I did for 3 years, of just walking into sessions. Like, that's all anybody ever saw me post was like, in another session, but it takes time. Like, I didn't want to like rush anything and put out something I didn't like, and I wanted to find my sound and find myself in my music. And now we've developed an identity, and yeah, it's been fun. Yeah.
Did you go around to a lot of labels, and like what clicked you to sign with Capitol?
Yes, I started meeting with labels about 1.5 years into recording, and we met around with everybody, and everybody was super great. And Capitol was the last label I met with. We walked in, and I had just been exhausted from a long day of like doing other meetings, and then we walked in, and we were like all blown away. We didn't think the meeting was going to go that well, and everyone was super excited to have us in there, and it felt right. Like, it felt home, like a home. And like, I wanted someone who's gonna be at the plate and swinging as hard as I'm swinging, and like really be behind me and have real support. And that's all I've felt since I signed. back in, this is 2019,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I signed back in 2018 February.
Okay.
And then, yeah, ever since then, like working with Capital's been amazing. Like, I love everybody over there. Jeremy, he's just amazing. he's like my homie now. I'm like friends with everybody up there.
Did it ever cross your mind like that you're signing too early? Like you really haven't established like your specific style or your brand or for music?
It was nerve-wracking because it was like
you didn't want them to control
a big name, and they've just been amazing. Like they've kind of just let me figure it out by myself, and like they've helped me with direction, but yeah, they've kind of just like let me run loose in the cage until I figured myself out, and that's what we did, and we all are on the same page. And I couldn't, like, because I've heard nightmare stories of people with labels, but that's the opposite of my experience.
And you're gonna put out some EP this year or album?
We're undecided.
Undecided.
But yes, a body of work is coming very soon.
What's the inspiration behind Attitude?
Attitude is about the initial infatuation, like the instant infatuation. I can't speak. The instant infatuation with a girl. Like it was super simple, but I like walked into a room and I saw this girl and I was like, wow, like the way she just is. Like, take away the looks, it's like completely just her attitude is like so attractive.
Did you know it's about her?
Yeah. She loves the song.
How would you say you've grown as a person compared to when you were younger?
How would I say I've grown as a person?
Yeah.
I feel like I've learned how to use my words more to describe how I'm feeling. It's like a muscle to be worked, and I used to be, and I consider myself still a very shy person. Like, it's just something I consider myself a very shy person, and when I was growing up, I was the most shy, like, introverted person, and I would never use my words to explain how I feel and, like, just talk about anything. And so now I feel, since I've been, like, writing music and writing anything, I've learned how to spit those words out and kind of get together my thoughts, and, like, it's I feel like I've grown into like a different thinking process of like knowing how to explain a feeling, you know? And it's not an easy thing to do. Coming from me, I don't know about everybody else, but from my experience, knowing how to explain how I'm feeling, and I'm still learning every day. Like, I'm not this super guru of like knowing exactly what to say all the time, because there's days where I'm just like, I don't even know how I feel. And that's just like, I feel like that'll never go away, but yeah, still learning and growing.
What else would you say have been your biggest challenges in your life so far?
Biggest challenges in my life is finding inspiration even when you've been, I wouldn't say it's the most challenging, but well, I've been like locked away in a studio for the past 3 years, so like finding inspiration in the smallest things of like a leaf blowing a certain way, or like someone looking at me a certain way. Like, literally Attitude is that, someone looking at me a certain way. That was like a year and a half into recording. So yeah, it was like finding inspiration in places I didn't think I could find it, because I would get so burnt out. I would be in like 7 days in a week, I'd be in like 9 to 10 sessions a week.
Oh my gosh.
And I would get burnt out. I would not have anything to write about, so I would have to like find other things to like be inspired by, and like getting out of the house and doing that, like just stepping foot out of the house, like one step out the front door could be your inspiration. So I like started to like,
I love that,
force myself to do that more. So yeah, it was just, yeah, I would say that was my biggest challenge in the past 3 years.
What does love mean to you?
Love, what does love mean to me? That's a hard question. I think love is an unconditional thing. Like, I think true love is where someone is like a friendship even. Like, I love all my friends. They could like mess up sometimes, but like I still love them even if I'm mad at them.
Yeah.
Like, unconditional love is like, I feel like you shouldn't have to choose to love anything. I mean, I take that back. I take that back, because there's things that I mean, yeah, love's just love. Like, it's happy. Like, it's happy and sad. Like, yeah, love is just, it's beautiful. Like, I don't know how to explain it. How do you explain it?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's such a unique thing. That's why every song on earth is about love.
Yeah.
It's everyone trying to explain what love is.
Yeah. Last question. What do you want to be remembered for?
What do I want to be remembered for? I want to be remembered for bringing a good time everywhere I go. Like, I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable. I want everyone to feel like positive and happy and motivated and hopeful, and just I don't want any negativity. Like, if I were to die right now, all I want anyone to take away from me is that guy is happy, that guy is like what's the word?
Like, optimistic?
Optimistic, but like I don't. Yeah, just I guess the all around summed up thing is that guy is very positive and optimistic, and there's a word I'm thinking of, I just can't think of it.
I don't really want to know what that word is.
It'll take me a second, but yeah, I don't want any. Yeah, if I were to die today, I would say I would want people to remember me by just happiness.
Yeah, no.
That's a tough question too.
Yeah.
Wow, the tough questions came in at the very end.
Yeah.
Got my gears turning.
Yeah. Oh, I love this. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been a fun walk.